Rob Tabbert here for ID Boxing. Delighted to be joined by the IBF flyweight champion of the world, Sonny Edwards. Matchroom Boxing's new recruit, Sonny Edwards. That sound good, Sonny?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many people saw it coming or expected it before. I don't know. Maybe there was a few leaks and whatnot, but yeah, it sounds good. And I'm looking forward more to what it opens up for me and what it means for me. Speaking on Matchroom quickly, I mean, I've seen them from, my brother's career, other fighters that I'm closely involved with career, and they've always been professional. They've always been looking out for me in a certain way of coming to the fights, and it's always been very respectful. It's never been an issue that I weren't with them per se, apart from not getting mentioned on the DAZN broadcast when my rivals were fighting. But yeah, I think now I'm in a position where I genuinely believe. I know I said at the announcement that obviously I feel like I've got a bit of work to do. There's a few fighters that I need to beat in stable before I can really consider myself comfortably, one of the favourites. I think it's always important. I've done it my whole career. When I first went with Frank Warren, I made sure that no one was going to be number one above me, and if it was, I wanted to fight them first, in-house first. That's why I was calling the names that I was. And then obviously with Probellum, I fought Mohammed Wasim, the other competitor, because for me it's the first is always being the in-house favourite, and then looking to the rest of the world. So for me there's about 6-7 potential names over the next 2-3 year period. We've signed a multi-fight deal, and sometimes people join new promoters and it's the worry that they might feed them to the lions or chuck them in the deep end. If that happens to me, that's make it mission accomplished. That's like assignment understood, and I don't want no intermediate fight sort of time over to the next one. The big fight's coming, because the big fight's kind of been coming my whole career. I've never really had a substantial dance partner in the sense of name, marketability, reputation. Even Maruti, my biggest night probably. There was still a lot of question marks, grey areas. Was he too old? Did I get him at the right time? Was he brought or whatever? So I think now 2023, the position I'm in with Matchroom Boxing, a multi-fight contract, it's in both our interest to make these fights happen, and because of that I think we won't face the issues that we faced before. And if the other fighters continue to stay hard to work with as they have previously, then it's gonna, now it's actually gonna pay dividends in some other way. I'll get opportunity that someone else won't get, etc.
You mentioned there at the start, not many people seeing it come in. Of course, your brother was with Matchroom for a period of time, became world champion under Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. How long has this been cooking up? How long has Sonny Edwards to Matchroom been a thing?
Probably shorter than you'd think. Probably the same amount of time it took to make the Martinez fight the first time. Obviously, I was in a position where, with Probellum, ceasing trading and then selling, there was a position where they hadn't acquired all of the assets. So, we had conversations behind the scenes, and it was mutually agreed that the position I'm in, being able to sort of speak around and look elsewhere at this stage in my career is probably reasonable. And then there was quite a lot of interest. I know there was like a few leaks, and there was a few more conversations that happened behind the scenes, but there was probably only really one key option for me, and outside of getting on with a lot of the behind the scenes stuff and appreciating the shows I've seen firsthand as long as I've been involved in professional boxing, the fights are pretty much lined up. And now you've got the best promoter in world boxing pulling the strings and having the same conversation with two fighters. He's got pretty much all the fighters immediately that I need, and probably even more to look forward to in the future as well.
You've had an interesting relationship with Eddie over the years, haven't you? You've been happy to be the adversary, the other side of the street. What was it like, that first conversation, when you sort of decided to go there really and really sign on the dotted line, as it were? As some of these boxing things go, sometimes conversations happen over your head. But I knew there was always interesting to work with me when we sort of dealt with the Martinez fight. There was sort of, what else has he got going on, how long contract, etc. So
it wasn't like a secret. So then when it was kind of made aware, you know, Sonny can be available, obviously at this point it was, I want to say I received an offer on Tuesday or Wednesday, and I'd signed the next day, and I was here announcing it the day after. Like, it was really, really that quick. But yeah, I think it made it easier because outside of me signing, there was still the potential of making these fights. You know, Eddie had said, you know, if we can make the fights happen, we'll make the fights happen. So, yeah, like, it was a bit frustrating of a period of time, but that's more just the time of the year it fell, you know. I thought November, so then December's just a bit right off, and then January, February are often quite slow starters if you're not the immediate conversations getting on right there and then. You're sort of waiting for the next chapter of the year. So got it all over the line in quite quick time. I'm really pleased to do so. Frank Smith as well. I've always had a good relationship with him. You know, there's seldom a boxing show that I don't have a nice 10-15 minute conversation, and that's at any stage of my pro career so far. So shout out to him. I think Frank as well was very, you know, willing to work or keen to work with me, and likewise. But yeah, I've got a good relationship with the behind the scenes staff, and even though I know a lot of people are sort of thinking, oh, what about Twitter? And you got to remember, I just had a gripe of being ignored. Like, it's not like I was banging on the door. I was, you know what I mean, trying to do everything and I was just not getting nothing reciprocated. I mean, the Zone were putting up infographics and saying who next to Martinez, and put my brother and his name in that. You know what I mean? So it was like, I was just a bit, and sometimes the quiet kid don't get no sweets. Sometimes you just got to get on someone's radar a bit, you know what I mean? Force maybe a private conversation, and then you can start, you know, piecing the pieces back together there. And look at us. Look at us. Who would have thought? Nah, me. You know what I mean? No, but in all seriousness, like, it's never, but it's not really personal. You've got to remember, whilst I'm getting nothing off probably the most marketed man in boxing, you can make a couple of tweets, and all of a sudden a lot of people talking about it, and now like highlighting my distress. I wasn't getting the fights. I was getting sort of frozen out. I was a world champion from Britain, really interested in, you know, going over, fighting as the weight corner, etc., etc. And it was just arm's length. So that's what that was about. It's never really been personal. Like, even when I mentioned maybe sort of my brother and how that went around, for me personally, it was my brother's mistakes more anyway, of you know what I mean? A lot of the mistakes he made. And secondly to that, you can't take a businessman personally for making business decisions. Like, there's a reason why their companies exist and thrive. Like, you can't fall out with it. If they do something personally to offend you or harm you or hurt you, that's a different thing. But anytime it's business, if you can't agree, you go separate ways until there is a time you can agree. So here we are agreeing, and all on the same team now. And I really do look forward to capitalizing, because I know that the media people, the interviewers, the content side of things, as well as whatever, they know what worth and value I bring to the table, and it's probably been, like, you know, underappreciated in other places before this. So a big part of it as well, coming over to the Zone. I made my intentions. I want to be doing commentary. I want to be doing punditry. I really want to branch out into that side of the sport as well. One, because I enjoy it, and two, I think I'm good at it. And if it's something that maybe I want to pursue all the way through my life, maybe, then, well, I've got some leverage to wheeze them away in a bit better. I'm going to. So, but yeah, it didn't seem a hard sell. It was actually very much like, yeah, sounds good. What shows do you want to do? Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, like, just happy right now. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this year.
One of the things that I tweeted soon after the announcement came was, you know, I think it's a very good signing. It kind of makes a lot of sense. Obviously, IBF flyweight champion, Matchroom in recent years, certainly the last 5 or 6 years.
Number one in the division as well.
Number one in the division.
The Ring,
yes, I was getting
ESPN, Boxrec.
Anyway, as I was saying, the kind of Matchroom sort of picked up from Tom Loeffler, and when they were doing the Superfly shows, and kind of really made, you know, the lower weight boxing's more appealing again, and make it sexy again, so to speak. The light flies to the Superflies.
What do you think I'm doing?
Yeah, I mean, the light flies to the Superflies seems to be stacked of opportunities, and it seems to me as well that and I think you'd agree, in the lower weight classes where sometimes the money isn't what you get at the heavyweight division, when you've got 30s and 40s and millions.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
But very few people. Most heavyweights aren't on that. But
Sure, you know what I mean. But like at the very top of the division, it seems like fights are easier to make around the lower weight classes than they are the heavyweights.
Because we've all got
big
small man
glamour
syndrome.
fights.
That's it. We've all got small man syndrome. Like when someone says that they're better at fighting than us, like it actually means something. You know, to someone that's like 6'10". Like, it doesn't matter to them. You know what I mean? It doesn't. Like, but to someone that's 5'3" and probably their whole life, you know what I mean? Most flyweight fighters probably got laughed at some point when they first told someone they was boxing when they was like a bit younger and that, because they're dead small, don't look like a boxer. So probably that, as much as the money thing. Probably is the money thing. But I reckon small man syndrome definitely a little bit.
What's your ideal fight plan? So you've got all the light flies, the flyweights, of course. I'm sure you're looking for unifications in the near future. I know you've spoken in the past about you've spoken to me about featherweight in the future, but super flyweight in the near future. Of course, you have boxed there previously. What's the career plan looking like for Sonny Edwards? What's your ideal 3?
Well, ideally, I want to fight, May, June, July latest. Do I think the 2 fights that I want next are going to happen? No, because Martinez is locked in May 6th and Bam is locked in next week, 8th of April. Will Bam want to fit into my timeline? Probably not. He'll probably be like, I want to fight October, September, November. I'm not waiting that long to have my next fight. I've not fought this year yet. So... And Bam, Martinez probably even harder to make a fight with, let's be real. So outside of them two, which is kind of like one of them, unifying, getting the ring, is my immediate goal. And whilst they're both in-house, the 2 options to do it really, it makes sense to go for that. Maybe, I don't know, someone like Rosales, in June or something. I believe that Matchroom have got options on him or something. I don't know that 100%. I remember seeing it on Twitter or something. I believe they got options on him, but maybe not him, maybe someone else. But I think that would be a good fight for me. But just see what they come up with. But I want something to get my teeth into. I want like a purposeful fight, a good fighter. Because if I'm going to be jumping in, ideally after this fight, I kind of have to take because of the other 2. If I can fight this, then line up the first unification. I think I should get first. Right now, as Matchroom fighter, the other 2 are Matchroom fighters. I wouldn't like it if them 2 got the chance against each other first. Why? Because I haven't really spoke about fighting each other so long. You know what I mean? And 2, I think if they did, the winner probably won't fight me. You know what I mean? So I want first, and then I promise whoever's second can get me next. I'm winning the first one. It doesn't matter which one it is. Like, so if I can do that, it doesn't matter which way. Probably Martinez for profile going into the Bam fight, because I think it would make that a bigger fight. That's not personal, so the bigger my profile is for a non-personal fight, the better. Bam, I could if I beat him, that would make the personal side of Martinez even bigger. So it probably doesn't really matter each way. I'll be real, contractually, to me it doesn't right now. Because as I said before, the assignment is hardest fights. Go. You know what I mean? It's not negotiate. It's he doesn't want it. He doesn't want it. Who's next? And then if it gets to a point where 12 months time I still haven't fought Martinez or I still haven't fought Bam Rodriguez, then that's probably when. Well, there might be some more coming up by that point. So there might be a Taraji or there's a few like flyweights, just like Alvarado. Let's be real. He's come up and is probably one of the most dangerous competitors at the weight still after me beating him. There might be a few of them, maybe. I'm not sure. But yeah, then I'll start looking at the other weights. There is some interesting conversations already, like where we could look to take it if the plan goes well. But until you've got a fight date, poster, contract, it's just a conversation. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know how much I believe in the willingness of both Martinez and Bam, to be honest. Like, I know I've signed, but you know what I mean? It's very easy to start making excuses. Oh, nah, man, I'm going to have some time out, and then, I'm going up weight, or like, and I'm still half expecting that. Because if I was Reynoso, I wouldn't put Martinez anywhere near me. I think there's a reason why they haven't. I think it's clear. I don't even have to say why. But even if I was looking after Bam, I wouldn't go anywhere near me either. He just had someone that fought probably at like a 60-70% efficiency of back foot boxing that I can reach to. Probably less than that if we're being really, really straight. And he struggled for rounds against someone that was just edging back a little bit. I'm the best back foot boxer in the world, because I do not have to go forward to win a fight. I can literally take every step back and win every round of every fight. And I don't think that his youthfulness and his trying to, be agitated and step, and come close, wait for me to pause for a split second, then load up into the gap with a slight bit of quicker footwork. I don't think any of that's going to work against me, not remotely, because straight away we're just dealing on jabs for the first 3 rounds. And I think I got a much better jab than him.
Looking up, I know it's kind of coming to the end of a glorious little cycle, really, of that super flyweight division. Carlos Cuadras against Rungvisai, Chocolatito, Estrada. Got to be a little part of you that sees that and thinks, yeah, maybe you want to grab one of them just before they go.
Oh, no, I'll try and, I'll be real. I'll try and do right now, say maybe have 3 fights at the end of this year. Bam. Whoever I need to go first, and then Bam, and then Martinez. Go straight into them, clear all that. Maybe it might spill into next year. And then as soon as I've got that, okay, there might be the Dalakayan option. Undisputed could be a potential, because that would be worth probably staying for. But he, was offered to fight me in Usyk AJ in Saudi and didn't respond, didn't care, didn't want to, but picked up the phone for Frank Warren to fight, and you know what I mean, against whatever. So they didn't want to know against me, so they might still not want to know against me. I've sparred him quite a few times, and I think that's another reason why that unification never got closer. So yeah, straight up, and then there is those names of killers. Okay, I might start. If I do fight them, beat them, there might be that. Okay, well they're not at their best, which is fine. I've had that before. But there's legends like Roman Gonzalez. I'd love to get in the ring with him. Love. I don't see. This is what people don't understand about me. Maybe compared to them. I don't see the fighter that looks like a monster. I don't see the fighter that looks like they do everything right. I don't see the fighter that can go through the gears and just take people apart time and time again. I don't look at them and feel fear. I get excited at the prospect of a challenging fight. And if that doesn't make sense to your head, then you'll never understand my mindset going into a fight. You show me someone that's knocked out the last 20, first round, and the best fighter ever. You woo-woo. That's who I want to fight next. So the question will always be that next. Whoever you think that is, you could probably tell me that better. But flyweight, super flyweight, comfortably both of those weights, I think I'm the best in the world right now.
If you could name one of those names at Superfly, would it be Chocolatito?
Oh, it's the biggest, isn't it? But if not, Estrada? It would be the next.
Ioka's up there as well.
Ioka, I would love Japan, New Year's. Ioka, Nakatani, all of them. One part of my boxing bucket list. I've got a few little things on there, not too many, but Japan, New Year's Day. That's my birthday, 1st of January, and I've always wanted to do that. It's got to the point of I'm so stubborn that I will try not to fight a Japanese fighter apart from on that day, especially the first time. You know what I mean? Because if I wasted a chance fighting in May for no reason and then never got to do it, I'd be a bit fuming. When if I could have waited 7 months, I could have fought with Ioka in a sold-out arena. You know what I mean? And it would be maybe the biggest night of my life, because that night can hold that special, especially if you get a good opponent.
Out of all of those names at Fly, and even Light Fly, Kenshiro, you mentioned earlier on, who's the most difficult fight, do you think? Is it Bam Rodriguez? Is it somebody at Superfly, Nakatani, somebody like that?
I rate Nakatani more than Bam. I rate Roman Gonzalez more than Bam. Might even rate Estrada more than Bam. He looked very good against 2 fighters that literally slowly tried to walk him down and bully him. And he's too good for that, sure. 100% he's too good for that, and he had good firepower, and he had good movement, and he had good adjustments and good reactions for that. Well, Israel Gonzalez, wasn't it, he boxed? For 4 or 5 rounds, he was just backpedaling, and he couldn't get near him. I ran out of ideas at the time, and Israel Gonzalez is a decent fighter. He's not a bad level. For me, probably should have beat Kaliafa when they boxed all that time ago.
He had a good fight with Chocolatito as well.
Yeah. So he's not, I'm not saying that, but he's not as good at what I do as what was doing good against him. He couldn't stand with Bam because Bam had better firepower, had better movements and adjustments and reactions, so he couldn't do that. So that was outgunned. So when he was moving back, he was really outboxing him, I thought, and if he can outbox him, I think I can skin him. So I don't think Bam is, and I think where I'm older than him, and I'm very, very fit, I don't know, I think my experience, people might think, oh, no, but genuinely, I know 3-4 years might not seem that much, but on the inside, they're tying up the actual, like, the mind side of things. Like, his mind has not developed as much as it will have in 4 years' time. Impossible. Do you know what I mean? And his body the same way. So I would rather have him now anyway. I think he'll go up through the weights a bit more than I might as well. Where he's that little bit bigger, maybe. But yeah, I don't know if he's the hardest. I would say probably the super flyers. I think Martinez is the easiest.
And leads me on to the biggest name, of course, Charlie Edwards. Most siblings will
In
send
2018.
a card. Let me finish. Most siblings will send a card. He sent a call out, which I thought was...
He sent about 3?
I thought it was interesting. You spoke about, I think, years and years ago, I think maybe one of the first times we spoke about it, you said that you'd be up for it because you've obviously sparred years and years and, you know, grew up together, punching each other up and stuff like that. Is that realistic?
I mean, if you asked me 2 weeks ago, I would have said no, because Charlie don't even spar me. Charlie stopped sparring me when I was 18, 19 years old. Facts. Like, the last time he was sparring me was when I was bringing him to help me in for like 4 rounds or 5 rounds, and I was doing 10 or 12. Like, and every time he was fighting all those world title camps, and he was in the Steel City gym, and the only time I would spar him, the like 1, 2, maybe 3 times that he was there, was when another sparring partner would let him down, or like there was no one else available. Do you know what I mean? Like, he wouldn't have me like 4 weeks out of his camp. No way. You know what I mean? No chance. His head would be gone. He'd be trying to foul me, trying to push my head down. Like, so I don't know where he's got this newfound confidence from. He's not been in the ring with me as a world champion because him, Paul Butler, and his trainer Joe Gallagher refused to have me down the gym when we asked ever so politely before I started calling his trainer up on interviews. But yeah, I don't know where it's come from. I can't. He's not fault, so it can't be that. Do you know what I think it is? I'll be real. And I'm kind of saying this with like a bit of tongue in cheek, yeah, because I don't really take it that personally. I just know what happened today. He tried to make my announcement going with his old promoter that he thinks fucked him over. He tried making it about him. You know what I mean? So I'm not stupid. But yeah, it's just, I think he's realised that for every interview that he, you know, tries being this media polished, I'm the nicest person ever, feel sorry for me, I've had my struggles and stuff. No one cares and people just take the piss out of him. So now I think he's just trying to... And it makes sense, man. I'm probably the most marketable thing in his boxing career right now.
May the 6th, you mentioned earlier on, Julio Cesar Martinez. He returns on the Canelo Ryder undercard. Fancy a trip to Mexico?
Yeah. Yeah, why not? I'll go have a little look at that. I'm sure it's in the budget. You know what I mean? All I need is 2 flights and 1 hotel room and we'll be gone.
You go on Eddie's private jet.
Well, do you know what was mad? Like, when he was signing all these American fighters, I don't want to name names, but some of the fighters that got the private jet treatment, yeah. See, you're laughing. Like, some of the private jet treatmenters are like, probably weren't private jet treatment level fighters, you know what I mean? But, you know what I mean, time and whatever. I got the train down first class. So shout out Matchroom, do you know what I mean? 2 tickets as well. But yeah, so no private jet. But
not yet, I was going to say, yeah. Final question from me. We've spoke about all of these names. A lot of them are American-based, Sonny. Can you travel to America?
Well, last year when we was negotiating, there was nothing to suggest that I couldn't. We did a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff. I'm not going to go into it too much. But I had a date of when I was travelling down to London with my application process to speak to get my P1. You know what I mean? So there's things that I think I don't know why I wouldn't have no issue. Like, genuinely, there's nothing to suggest in my life that's happened outside of whatever people just read on Twitter that would suggest to me otherwise. So yeah. And if not, Sheffield Arena ×3.
Van Rodriguez has said he'll come over to the UK anyway. Of course, Julio Cesar Martinez.
He wants me somewhere high up in the mountains in Mexico.
I'm sure he does. I won't finish what I was going to say then. Okay, I think we're probably about there. Before I let you go, final word on the mastermind who is not here, Grant Smith. How's Grant? How's he getting on? How's everything at Steel City? Yeah,
really good. Obviously, we had the recent celebration of the British Trainer of the Year, so shout out to Grant for that one. Yeah, that's a good lift for the gym because, like, as you know how highly I think of Grant, especially as a boxing trainer, he's always been put overlooked. And when you actually look, like, if there was, like, I don't know, a trainer, box rec, you know what I mean? Like, he's got WWW for as long as you can even think to remember. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think he deserved it. I think I'm one of the best fighters in Britain. I think I was, pipped at the post by Natasha Jonas at the best fighter, but I think she deserved it, especially from where she was a few years ago. It's lovely to see. Like, I'm not bitter. Like, people might think, oh, they're like, genuinely well done, Tasha. She genuinely deserves it, and a really nice lady and a great fighter, and shows as well that as long as you don't give up, everyone else will give up around you. As long as you don't give up, and you've got the right people supporting you, look what you can turn it into, because now she's the queen of Sky, really, isn't she? Like, she writes the theme tune, sings the theme tune, you know what I mean? She's everywhere, like, and it's great because she is someone that's been, like, I remember, this is quite funny actually, I remember when I was like 14, 15, I'm fancying the life out of her when my brother was in GB, you know what I mean? So, it's nice from all that time later to see her, you know what I mean, British Boxer of the Year, and Grant got British Trainer of the Year, and all the gyms the lads in the gyms are buzzing. We've got a few new additions as well that have fitted in really well. Like, it's really good right now, I can't lie. I just got this new contract and sort of direction and hopefully momentum with my career. I'm already in a great place. I've leveraged being the best flyweight in the world, in my opinion, and in many others. So, yeah, 2023, like I've been saying, is setting up for a fantastic year. A really, really fantastic year.
Well, wish you all the best, Sonny. Congratulations on a massive announcement, Sonny Edwards to Matchroom Boxing. Look forward to hopefully seeing you in the ring sometime soon and getting one of those big names that we've spoken for the last 20-25 minutes about in the ring. As always, real pleasure. Thanks very much for speaking to ID Boxing. Look forward to catching up with you soon.
I appreciate you.